On today's Among Them devlog, we're going to be fixing a lot of bugs that we actually introduced when we developed the walls detection algorithm feature. So let's see what happened and how we're going to work to fix that. Now, a quick reminder that we are developing this game live on Twitch every Wednesday and Sunday. So if you want to be part of this, and also we're going to be open sourcing the code and playing together online, feel free to join on my Twitch channel. I'll leave the link in the description below. Hello world, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Igor. I am a software engineer based in Portugal, and on this channel we do coding related stuff like tutorials, challenges, and other related topics. So today we are continuing our journey of developing Among Them, our Among Us clone, and we're going to be fixing a lot of bugs that we introduced. Okay, so this is what we currently have. Once you insert your player name, you go to the game map and you can move the player with your joystick. You can see that at the moment we have some wall detection feature implemented, but you're going to see that it doesn't work quite as we expected. So the way we did this was by loading two images, one for the background that you see on the game screen, and then other for the walls that represent that map. Now change the image to represent the walls, and you can see that all that it is just black and white, where black is the walls and white is the free space where you can move. This detection was done by a simple if, where we take a pixel of the walls image at the specific position, which is the future player position, and we compare it with a black color, which is an array representing numbers. So the first problem we have is that I think that the coordinates of the player are not actually representative of the position on the map regarding the full image. So we logged the player position as he moved through the map, and you can see that they are actually low values, and we're going to see why I think those are low values. So to be able to show you the correct position that I think the player should have, I opened up the Photoshop Online tool that I normally use to edit images, and I loaded the background image that we currently are using. Now there is a tool of info that you can see anywhere on the image where that coordinate would be in X and Y, where your mouse is hovering. You can see that in this point, the position should be 700 by 500, more or less. But we are having 70 and 20, so miles off where it should be. This is the code responsible for drawing and updating the map position. And to know if it's working right, we're gonna select a position on the map. It's gonna be this plate right here. I think it's a good one to take. It's gonna be 400 by 270, more or less. So we went into the game context. That's where our initial player position is set, and we say that it is quite a bit off the position how we wanted it. So we went back to the code and we made the adjustment that we should have made that right from the start. So we were already compensating for half of the screen, because since the image is drawn from top left corner, we actually need to compensate the drawing of the background image by subtracting of the current width and height of the canvas, so that it's going to be placed right in the same position with the player on the center of the image. And now we have the player what we should have. Now just to test one more position, see if everything's going okay, I'm going to place the player on the bed. That's 700 on the X and around 300 on the Y. And yeah, now we can see that the position is working as expected by the pixels of the map. So now the walls detection should be working a lot better, because before it was not actually on the correct place for comparing the colors of the black and white. And we make some tests and it actually isn't. It's passing right through the walls. Now that's wrong, another bug that we need to fix. So we went up to the function we already have, and just to start debugging, we copied the result of the pixel color and we logged it on the console. Okay, you can slowly see that it's working as expected. However, we noticed a bug. The color representing black is 000255, that's for maximum opacity, and we were trying to compare it with 0000, so like no color at all. So now it should work better, but it only works at slow speeds, so we have another problem. Currently we are adding the position of the joystick as a speed to the current player position. The thing is that if we are moving too fast, the X and Y components of the joystick is going to be too large, so the actual value we're going to be comparing is way far from the wall actually. So instead of using directly the speed components of the joystick, we're actually going to compare it to a fixed value of distance from the player. So we kept the same logic of addition of the speed to the player position, because that can't be changed. And now instead of using that one, we're going to create a wall compare position. That's what we're going to compare the pixel of the wall image with. Now, instead of a dynamic value, it now became a fixed value that we are adding to the position. And that should give us a better reading, but that way only gonna work for positive values, so positive x's and y's. But by using a positive and constant value, we're always going to be trying to compare with the same direction from the player at all times. So we went and searched for a function that would give us the sign of the number, because that way we could get the positions from both sides of the player and also top and down regarding the joystick position. So there is a math sign function in JavaScript, and it's going to return you exactly that by the number we passed as a parameter. So we added that and passed the components of the speed on the x and the y axis for the respective positions, and we tried it and it kind of worked, but it's still bad at high speeds. So we toned down the distance of the player from 5 to 1, kind of did some improvement, but then we still not happy with the results. We changed back to the walls image and we made some more tests. Only keeps working at low speeds. Now, I was getting out of ideas, so I resorted back to debugging by console logs, and I added a log for the pixel color of the walls image. After a couple of more tests, we came up with a terrifying conclusion. The black is not being represented as black, at least not most of it. Some is being represented as ones instead of zeros, so our comparison with our black array is not going to work. So the only thing we had left to do, instead of comparing with a fixed distance, we resorted back to trying to compare with the outer edges of the player. We switch the distance for radius and then divided by 2, we can actually check exactly at the edge of the player. The color problem with the image is by the manipulations that the program has to do to represent the image. So we have black and white, but between the black and white there are some pixels that are going to combine and they become different shades of white and black. So that's a problem for us. One of the solutions can be, instead of taking a single pixel of the image, take more than one, probably in a row regarding the direction of the player, and take that to make the decision to either move or not. So that's an improvement we can make. The other improvement is that at this point we can only compare the wall colors from left and right of the player and top and bottom, because we are only comparing with the math sign value, and that only gives us 1 or -1 on either direction. To go around that, the thing we can implement, and we're going to do in the next stream, is to normalize the value of the joystick that returns. I think it returns speeds between 0 and 30 on each axis, and normalize that into between 0 and 1, and use the direct value from the joystick normalized to get a 360 representation of the current direction that the player is going. I think that one would fix most of our problems, but we still need to figure out a better way of comparing the colors. Okay, so this was a quick overcap of all the bugs that we introduced into the code. We still have a lot of bugs that we need to fix. These were some of the solutions that we can implement and trying to mitigate them. If you have any other suggestion to fix either of these problems, or even others that you may have encountered, please leave them in the description below. And if you want to be part of this project that we are hosting on Twitch, link in the description, can come up every Wednesday and Sunday, join the chat, make suggestions on how we should do things, and participate in the development when I open source the code. I'm currently working on that actually. So that's my invitation to you. And until the next time, I can only wish you happy coding.